I'm not sure about you guys, but my favorite Spider-Man is Miles Morales.
I really like Superior Spider-Man. That's gonna go so well in Gorios.
My favorite is Boris the Spider Rider. He looks so cool.
Boris, you not mean Ben Reilly?
Who?
Look, you're on about 3D Omen Paths, and we're on about Spider-Man this week on battlechads. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week on battlechads. As always, we're here to talk about everything Magic the Gathering, and as always, I'm joined by some lovely co-hosts. I've got Josh and Dan with me. How are we doing, guys?
Hello, all good.
Yeah, I think it's been a while since we've actually recorded an episode all together, right?
Yeah, it's been a good few weeks. Josh just avoids us now. He just gets all these cool guests on, and I know there's an episode with just me and Josh, so you were avoiding me. Maybe I'm the problem. Who knows?
I think being an adult is a problem, mate. Like being an adult is like as a kid, you think, oh, being an adult, I could do all this cool stuff, and then yeah, you can do all this cool stuff, but then you've got kids and jobs and back pain and knee pain and all that stuff, and you got to go to the toilet like once every hour and a half because you're 35. Pathetic now. I don't know if I'm projecting here, but it's just one of those things that like gets in the way of podcasting.
Yeah. If you guys at home wonder why all of our episodes are between an hour and a half, actually because of Josh needing the bathroom all the time.
I actually don't know how to shut up either, so that's also the problem.
Perfect for a podcast, Josh.
Yeah.
You when it's not you and it's just me and Dan, there is no charisma. We just like it's dead awkward when we're off camera and have to mumble to each other about magic cards. But no, you keep.
We bring the charm. We bring the charm.
Yeah.
You bring your own little something, don't you?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Something in inverted commas.
Look how cute you are there on my screen. Look at you. You're all right.
Yeah. I like the neon lights. It really brings me back to when I was like 15 and the cute little 15-year-old. Anyway, sorry. Moving on. We've got quite an interesting topic for everyone this week. It's been quite a cause of discussion online, and that means it's a perfect topic to steal and go through an episode of Battle Chads on, and that is the topic of Magic's most controversial set of Spider-Man. Ooh. Before we go into Spider-Man, though, I just want to give a lovely shout-out to our wonderful sponsors over at UltraPRO.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this podcast, it means you play Magic in some regard, competitive, casual, whichever. And if you've gotten this far not using UltraPRO products, I have absolutely no idea what you're doing. We've been sponsored by UltraPRO for a decent amount of time now, and their products are fantastic. They do sleeves, deck boxes, all the jazz in the middle as well. Big fan of the products. You guys have been using them on like competitive events and such. How have you found them?
They are amazing. Chef's kiss.
I was actually talking to my girlfriend today about UltraPRO sleeves. I was there sat goldfishing my newly put together Gorios deck, and I was like, these sleeves will last me a whole RCQ season and a Mega Modern and all this, and she's looking at me like, that's nice, dear. Like, I'm dead excited about these sleeves, and genuinely, they are good. Like, I'd only stick to, like, 10, 12-pound sleeves. These are a bit more expensive, but if you think, like, how much I've used them compared to, like, when I've had to replace them, they are so worth it. And I'm not even, like, saying this because we've got them for free off UltraPRO or anything, but I'm saying, like, they actually are really good. I actually would buy these, like, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, just to put into perspective, we get some free goodies, obviously, as being sponsors, but I also buy sleeves from UltraPRO that I like the look of. So like I picked up the Bob Ross ones out of my own pocket.
Same?
Yeah, found it really cool.
I got those ones for free.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess his favorites on the team, but I think that the fact that I know that at some point I'm going to get new sleeves and I like using them so much and I want more, I buy extra ones. That just probably says everything it needs to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to have a private chat after this, but yeah. Anyway, why have we done this now? I'm gonna spend the rest of the episode jaded. But
that's not, mate. The wind blows and you get jaded. Come on,
like yeah, it's very true.
Oh, it's an easterly breeze today. That's annoyed me.
I don't. Okay. easterly breezes do annoy me, to be fair, and just again, I've teased that. To be fair, this is quite a controversial topic, as I've already said, but I've got quite a few opinions, as with everything in life. How I'm sure you guys do too. But just before we delve into the web, get it of the Spider-Man set, I want to quickly talk about the Pro Tour metagame, where this is Thursday as of recording.
Yep.
And we've just been absolutely blown away by the Pro Tour Edge of Eternity's modern metagame, which is taking place this weekend. And the metagame is essentially what nobody expected, with Goryo's Vengeance in number one. How do you feel about that, Josh?
Remember when I was telling that everyone Goryo's Vengeance is really good, like before Riddler was printed? I think I was on Summit, and Riddler has sort of sent that deck into overdrive a little bit. Maybe this is Pro Tour Quantum Riddler rather than Pro Tour Gorios, because I do think Quantum Riddler is probably the card of the tournament, because it's played in the Esper Blink piles, it's played in some blue black frog piles, it's played in Gorios. Anything
Mono red aggro.
Anything that can splash Ephemerate. You've got. I've been playing a lot recently with an Esper control list that really utilizes Ephemerate, and it's the card is just, it's so good. Like it's actually really good. Like people thought, this is you draw you cantrip at 2 mana, and then but you've got like Ephemerates, and then it's the stuff that the card doesn't say that we've already talked about on this pod that makes it absolutely bonkers.
Exactly. Dan, I just want to say, flashback to our episode about the top 5 cards for Modern and Standard from Edge of Eternities. What was my number one?
I can't remember. It wasn't that good of a card though. I can't. God knows. All right, it was Riddler. Let's stop playing about. It was Quantum Riddler. Sam, after all these weeks of me being in denial, I'm now happy to finally admit that you was right. It is a bit of a bomb in Modern. Just on the PT meta breakdown, it's quite good to see that there's not really like a big deck. Like you've got the 3 best decks in the format, which is Goryo's, Belcher, and Energy, which are all represented in numbers at the PT. I think I've seen a tweet from, I cannot remember his name for life of me. I've seen a tweet from someone competing in the PT is Seth Manfield, that's who it was. And he said, "I'm not playing the best deck because I don't know what the best deck is." So if a really, really good pro player is saying this, that's surely that signs of a healthy format. Goryo's being the best deck, I'm completely fine with that.
Do you want a hot take? And this is a hot take from right now before thing. Goryo's Vengeance won't win the Pro Tour.
No, it won't. It won't.
That's my hot take.
Okay. Go on, Josh. Sorry, go on.
It does. It has the mid-range plan. It has the combo plan. So when I was playing with Falaji Archaeologist and really going in the combo plan, I felt like that was a lot more focused deck. It's really hard to like. I feel like now with the way it's built now, I feel like if you draw the wrong side of your deck, or you have no real action in the early turns, you can get under the deck a lot easier than it used to be able to.
Yeah.
And I think the mid-range plan isn't as good as dedicated mid-range. So for example, Esper Blink, like if Goryo's Vengeance's mid-range plan came to that, it's not as good as Esper Blink's mid-range plan, because Esper Blink is a dedicated mid-range deck. I think that I don't think Goryo's Vengeance will win. Like, that's my hot take. I might be wrong, but my hot take is Goryo's Vengeance won't win. I think it'll be something like, arguably something like Belcher or even Tron might win. Tron might win the Pro Tour again.
Josh, fantastic points, and I always trust. When it comes to Esper Soups, I trust your opinion. But
I think it'll do well. But
of course. My hot take is Dan called one of the best players in the world, some pro player, can't remember his name.
That's doing. It's not even a bit. I could not remember his name. So
what is Seth Manfield playing? Does anyone know?
No, he's not published it. No, I guess we'll know tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll know tomorrow when the deck lists are fully up. Speaking of Tron, though, we have got Team Chad Magic member Giannmarco, friend of the podcast, dear friend of all 3 of us. playing in this Pro Tour is going to be there playing, like rubbing elbows with Seth Manfield, Sean Goddard. He's in America right now, yeah. And he's rocking Eldrazi Tron, which is an insane deck. So Marco, you're probably not going to be watching this until after the PT, but everyone else is. So best of luck.
Good luck, Marco. Hope you do well, mate. Hope you win.
Good luck, Marco. Yeah, I mean, that'd be a good episode, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
PT winner. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, could you imagine?
I just before we move on to the spider in the room. Haha, see what I did there. I think that what I just want to discuss about the modern meta game in general is I think the Goryo's first of all, Boris not number 1. Very surprising.
That was surprising.
Not even number 2. It's third most represented.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because that has been top cat now for well over a year.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen Belcher, which is obviously my. If you know me, you know I've played Belcher now for a year, and like the deck has had peaks and troughs really, and I think that it's an interesting choice for this weekend. But Esper Blink was the big one. It's like 6th on the list of what people are bringing to the table, and I think that realistically, Goryo's and Esper Blink, I guess, share the same core, but I think that there's a couple of things you get to do with Goryo's. I think we're going to see quite a few copies of main deck consigned to memory because you can use it to stop like the Goryo's triggers, but it's also really good against Belcher and really good against Tron, which are 2 of the big players. And Tron's 4? Yeah, Tron's number 4. Yeah, so we're going to, I think Goryo's, and also me and Josh have played Blink at points.
Mm-hmm.
Blink is really cool, but it struggles to close a game.
Yep.
Like its clock is quite slow and it has to develop this engine and get those gears moving to really capitalize.
Like, if you don't get Overlord of the Balemork, the deck feels awful. Like it feels if you have Overlord of the Balemork going, it feels incredible. If you don't have that going, it feels very mid.
Yeah, it literally goes from tier 1 deck to tier 2 deck without having that card in play. If tier 2. Yeah,
feels awful.
I think
like, you need to draw it.
Yeah, and honestly, the one thing that does close games really quickly is a haste flying lifelink 7/7 demon that says pay X life, draw X cards in it. So I think that I'm really surprised by the metagame, and I'm really excited to watch Marco take it down. Not sure if you guys have anything else to add to the Pro Tour.
It's good to see Affinity back on top as well.
That's a really good point.
Really nice to see.
This will be an interesting Pro Tour because Goryo's Vengeance is a very good deck and has a solid game plan, and it can close games really quick. And it has Psychic Frog in it, and Psychic Frog is the best card ever printed in the world ever. But I think if you knew this meta, like if you anticipated this meta, this would be easy to scalp. Like whether you build Boros Energy or you build Consigned to Memory piles or whatever. Like, I actually think a dedicated sort of Esper control list would actually do well in this meta. I think Blood Moon is really good in this meta. Like, if I knew this and I was playing Boros Energy, I'd be main decking some Blood Moons. Like, against Belcher, against Tron, against Goryo's Vengeance dies so hard to Blood Moon. Like, so hard to Blood Moon. Like, it's a joke. Like, the amount of times I've, like, lost finals I lost 2 finals in RCQs to Blood Moon alone. Like, and I'm like, because sometimes you just can't play around it. Sometimes you just you don't have a force negation, or you just can't fetch because you just drew shocklands, and it dies really hard to Blood Moons. But I mean, it's going to be an interesting PT, really interesting PT.
Yep. If you guys are editing this, I need a big disclaimer, big flashing red lights. As I make this, always remember that the most important part of a Pro Tour is the draft function. Just because the deck performs poorly overall doesn't mean it was a bad choice. Maybe they just didn't draft very well or are in a pretty tough seat. So it might not be a completely reflective representation of the metagame as in Modern at the moment. The top 8, the winners, whoever else. But obviously, everyone who's competing, good luck. I hear there's a up-and-comer on the Pro Tour this year, isn't it? You mentioned him, Dan, Seth Manfield. I hope they do well. Yeah, they've got a. Oh, I imagine they can. Okay, hang on. What do you think Seth's playing? I'm going to put money on Tron.
I'm going to go I'm gonna because he's quite a mid-range player. I'm gonna say he's done a complete curveball and he's playing Belcher.
I think Esper
Okay.
Link. I can imagine on Esper Link.
Perfect. We'll check in next week to see who's right. But thanks, Seth. You've made this fun. I hope you do well. You up
I
and
think
comer,
Esper
you.
Link is a bad choice. I think it's overplayed, but I think he will be on that. I think a good player could pilot that really well.
Yeah,
Sure.
Anyway.
Yeah. Perfect. So enough delaying out the way. I said controversial. There's going to be something controversial in the title. I want to talk to you guys today about a character that actually means quite a bit to me. When I was a kid, I used to hoover up comic books where possible. And obviously, as with every 12-year-old kid, their favorite superhero was either Spider-Man or Batman. I was a Spider-Man kid. Dan?
big Spider-Man fan.
Big Spider-Man fan. Nice. But
Spider-Man... Sorry, Sam. I'm just going to break this down dead quick, right? So I used to have a Spider-Man mask, right? And I used to sleep in it. That's how much of a Spider-Man fan I was. And my mum would always come and check in me and take the mask off because she was scared of me suffocating in the mask. Right? That I used to absolutely love Spider-Man. I used to walk around with the house with little gloves on, going chasing the cat, all sorts.
Chasing the cat.
Yeah. Well, that was weird, but I'm sorry. No, so when I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to be Spider-Man, and the door hasn't closed on that yet. It's unlikely at this point in my life.
Kind of look like Peter Parker, though.
Yep, I've been called Tom Holland without the talent before. I have been. that genuinely have been referred to that in the past. Parents can be cruel. That's all I'm saying. But no, Spider-Man meant a lot to me. Still means a lot to me. Fantastic character, even though Marvel's not known what to do with them for the past couple of years. But essentially, when it was announced that Spider-Man was coming to Magic the Gathering, I was very excited. Up until this point, there was never really Universes Beyond product that spoke to me. I know that obviously Final Fantasy, very, very popular. Lord of the Rings, I think Lord of the Rings did a really good job of speaking to everyone. Because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but that felt like a proper home-brewed, a little bit of good salt and pepper in there, magic product. And then when it come around Spider-Man, I was really excited for the product to be for me. And at this point, it's not officially out, but it has been officially out for coming up to a week now. Played in a couple of pre-releases. I'm not sure if you guys got down to any.
0. Not interested.
My pre-release deck was absolutely insane, but that's for another day. It got to a point where my opponent went, "How?" halfway through a game, which is the result you want of a pre-release. But this set has upset a lot of people, and I really just want to discuss: is this set a failure? I want to ask that question now. Have a discussion between us guys and see if we can answer that question. So the first thing I want to talk about is essentially this is left quite a poor taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I think the big one, or the big two, is that they admitted it was never meant to be a set. It was meant to be a tiny set like Assassin's Creed, or I think it was called Aftermath, guys. Is that right?
Yeah. That's right.
It was meant to be one of those weird sets, and then they turned it into a big set that we have now for standard. Very importantly, it's a standard legal Magic product. And the second thing is that they don't own the digital rights to the cards. I think is how they've sold it to us anyway. So if you open your booster pack and you open a Spider-Man 2099 and you go, "Wow, this card's dead sick. I want to play that on Arena because I want to play it as my Brawl commander." You can, but you can't. There is no Spider-Man 2099. There is some in-universe version instead that they've called Through the Omen Paths. What?
It's not. Yeah, it's weird. So as you do, you're scrolling through Twitter, you see deck lists from Fire Shoes that he's retweeted, and there's some cards in it that I've never ever heard of. It's like, what on earth is this? And you click on it, and you Google it, and you're like, oh, it's a Spider-Man card, and it's going to be, for me, for my tiny puny little brain, it's going to get quite confusing very very quickly. So it's definitely a weird set, to say the least.
So most of my Magic I consume, right? So I'd say 90% of the Magic I consume is on Magic Online, like what I play.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to see these cards. Sorry, I got a bit of a cough. I'm going to talk for a second. Apologies. I'm going to consume this product online, and I'm going to have no Spider-Man's feeling of it, which I'm completely happy with. I'm just going to disclaim it now. I do not care for this set. Like, I don't hate the set, but I do not care for it. So I'm kind of glad that I'm going to be consuming non-Spider-Man stuff. But at the same time, it makes that it disenfranchises that Magic Online, which is a meta-defining sort of source of decks and tournaments, and the paper Magic is going to be different. And we sort of seen this in Legacy, right? When we had some cards that were legal in, I think it was the
was it like the 40k set or something like that?
That's right.
No,
yeah.
Was it not the? What's the one in the vaults and stuff? What's that game called?
Oh, Fallout.
Fallout, yeah. So
Yeah,
Fallout came on Magic a lot later, so that you could play like the Legacy metagame, even though this is not the same. The Legacy like metagame in paper was technically different to online, so it made things like testing for Eternal Weekend, testing for ELM, and all that sort of stuff really weird, because like, well, what if they're playing this, I don't know, weird card that I've never seen before? But this is sort of different in the fact that like I could be playing against this card online for ages, and then I'll see it in paper and be like, what is that? Like, I haven't got what is that? And then I'll read it and be like, oh, this is whatever. So I don't like that. Like, I don't like. I feel like this set is a bit of a mess. Like, it's just an absolute lastminute.com mess that Wizards decided, how can we force this upon people? I don't know. Why don't we make it so the competitive scene has to play these cards? And let's make it so like everyone has to play, even online, to the point where we don't need the IP. We just make some cards up, give them a different name, and then put Spider-Man in paper, and then whatever online. And it's just an absolute joke, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, this is not gone. Like, this doesn't feel like real life.
I think that a lot of people have referred to Universes Beyond. The original one was the Walking Dead Secret Lair, funnily enough. But when that happened, people said Pandora's box has been opened. And obviously, once that box has been opened, you can't close the lid on that box. It is now open.
Yeah.
And I think that this is essentially the negativity that we get, or the bad end of that scale that we can see, because it is insane. I think, like, I mean, like, there's a... I'm not anti-Wizards of the Coast, and you guys know me. I prefer a positive discussion than me sitting there going, yep, this set sucks, I hate this. For one, which is actually quite a simple one, but I want to point this guys out to you, see if you thought this. I am incredibly arachnophobic, and these Modo cards and Arena cards have like pretty intense depictions of spiders on them. And
big spiders, to say the least.
But, like, you know, spiders have existed in Magic for years, but Ishkana Graph Widow, that is a fantasy-looking spider. Shelob is a fantasy-looking spider on the Magic card. If you look at through the Omen Pass versions of some of these cards, I can't actually look at some of them without feeling horrifically uncomfortable. Because they are realistic depictions of spiders. Scion of the Earth Spider really creeps me out. I know it sounds ridiculous, but for some reason they've not gone for the fantasy spider element that they usually do. They've gone, okay, Sam's deepest fears, other than rejection and failure, on a card.
But you live with those fears every day.
That's true. I'm scared of them because I have to avoid them day by day. But, like, that is... genuinely, I'm looking at one now and it's making me really uncomfortable. But from a rules point of view, Josh, to what you've just said, let's say you play Legacy on Modo, right? And let's say Nick Fit becomes a popular deck again on Modo. And which is ban silly creatures, right? Nick Fit. Look at me and my Legacy knowledge. Let's say you keep getting beaten by a demi of the Silk Shoots, right? And you go, right, I keep getting beaten by this card. I'm going to play Epiphany in my Mystic Forge deck to be able to beat a demi of the Silk Shoots. And then you go to a paper Legacy event and you play your Epiphany turn one. You go, I know this matchup, don't you worry, a demi. And then they go, okay, Sensational Spider-Man. which
But
is the in-universe.
Will they not count that though? Will like
I don't know.
like well I'd be
They
interested to
probably
know, like,
will.
if there's any judges listening, what are the rules behind that? Like if I
Well,
name like this situation, would they let me do it?
Please let us know in the comments. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a judge. I am a judge, believe
I
it or
keep
not.
I keep forgetting that.
Yeah. So, well, that's great news for me, isn't it? But and
forgetting
it
that.
should be that if both people should be aware. For example, the big one was Borborygmos when he meant Borborygmos and Rage, and that changed the rule. And the rule is now essentially it has to be to a point where both people can recognize
What I'm on
that
about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But let's say you've only played Modo and I've only played Paper.
Yeah.
That could affect how the entire game works, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, that is such a corner case situation, but I just want to put that actually has tangible effects or potentially tangible effects in tournaments. The cards make me feel not good because they're full of spiders. Genuinely, really strange that they've gone full like arachnophobia mode here.
Are you scared of spiders, Dan?
I'm not the biggest fan of spiders.
I love them, you know.
I can see where Sam's coming from because it's not like, you know, it's like a cartoon where like Spider-Man's a cartoon, but it's not like, you know, a magic card. They've got someone's pet spider, made like a little mini set, and I've done a little photo shoot with it with a little hat on and all sorts. It's
pretty
eerily
creepy.
It's eerily close to how real they look.
All right.
Yeah.
Fun
fact, I wanted to be an entomologist as a kid, which is the biology scientist word for studying bugs. But I was too scared of spiders to pursue it when I was that young. So I just couldn't. I think they're incredibly interesting, but they are also interesting from afar when I can't see them. And just have facts on a piece of paper.
I really want a pet orb weaver spider, but Ellie won't let me have one.
Yeah, they're gorgeous, but they're gorgeous when I can't see them, and
Anyway,
I'm gonna
those big fat house spiders that you get, like the big fat ones that run around your house, and you think, oh no.
Yeah.
Like I picked them up and put them on me. I like them crawl. Like I don't know. Like I just like them. I just like spiders.
Yeah, it was a cruel twist of fate. I should have been a Batman kid. I'm not scared of bats.
Yeah. Bats will do you more harm,
like,
probably. If you're from the UK, like bats will do you more harm than spiders will.
Bats will give you the rabies, which is no good.
Yeah.
Sam factor today, no good. But so there's this through the Omen Path stuff is very, very strange to me because you've got two arguments, and if you're listening to this and you think Sam is chatting some absolute wham here, I just want to come from it from a perspective of discussion. I actually want to keep my own personal thoughts a little wrapped away just while I discuss it with these two. So I'm not purposely going out my way to find the positives because there are some positives, but I don't want to be overly negative if it's not, if it's not necessary either.
It's our podcast. Don't talk bad about it. Do it.
So my theory is that obviously they anticipated this to be a smaller set, really small scale set.
Yeah.
I think that becomes blaringly obvious when you look at the commons and the uncommons because they're all very strange and husky. Like it's like there's an idea of a card there, but not quite. And I think that they went, right, we're not gonna, when they were negotiating, because people have been overly negative saying, well, Disney weren't going to sell them because of Marvel Snap, which is their card game, which has Spider-Man in it, or that Wizards were just too cheap to pay for the rights. Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily true. What my own personal theory is, they originally had this as a mini set that was not standard legal, like Assassin's Creed. They saw the failures of those sets, Assassin's Creed and Aftermath, but to be fair, Aftermath is standard legal if things weren't complicated enough. And then I think that after they saw those failures, because you got to be aware that these products are in the pipeline for quite a while, they went, how do we save this product? How do we make it so that people want to buy it? And they did the best with the time they had remaining. But obviously, by the time all these decisions are being made, the contract's signed, Disney aren't just going to go, okay, yeah, sure, we'll change the terms of the contract just because you've decided the product's got to change. So I think the cheapest alternative was for them to just go, right, let's do our own online version. What do you guys think of that?
Josh,
theory.
So that sounds very plausible. It sounds very, very correct, and it sounds like awful at the same time because like you're creating. Well, the reasons we've already said, you're creating that separation between online and online is the best way. Like it's the most efficient way to test. It's the most efficient way to see the meta. Online defines the meta. More games are played online than anywhere else. Like more Magic is consumed online, whether it be Arena or Magic Online combined. You know, it seems to me that like them not having the IP online, they are stopping a lot of consumerism in that way. Like, how can it be bad for Marvel? Like, and how can it be bad for how can it be bad for Wizards if you get people like you really like the Spider-Man set and can play it online and they'll do that. But in a way, I'm kind of glad that's how it is because I like to feel that I'm still playing Magic the Gathering when I'm consuming the most Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Sure.
I like Josh's point there because, like he said, you play a lot of games online. It's the most easiest way to play Magic at the minute. But when you go and play online, you're not going to be, going in against like Ben Riley. You're not going to be going in against Superior Spider-Man. You're going to be going in against Boris the Spider Rider and other cards are like that. Are these in-universe design cards, which are, it's better that. I think at this point I would prefer to have the in-universe ones just so that it actually feels like a Magic set. I know we had the whole argument before where like Final Fantasy feels like a Magic set, Lord of the Rings felt like a bit of a Magic set, whereas Spider-Man it just feels like I don't know.
It's got no sauce. It's missing the sauce.
Exactly. It's under the cheese.
Even Assassin's Creed felt like a Magic set, right? It just did. Like it was when I say like I don't know,
to some extent, yeah. I wasn't the biggest fan of that set either, just because it's very like this, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's somewhat like it's just part of the Magic. Cause I think it was so underwhelming, and it was so like, oh, there's an Assassin's Creed set, like like that's a thing. But because this is like so hyped up, and it's sort of a bit like the set looks a bit pump. If I'm being honest, like I do not care for this set. Like this set is not affecting the meta games that I'm really bothered about from what I've seen so far. I think there's some new cards for Affinity. You've got one new card for Goryo's Vengeance, which is essentially which essentially is just a reanimate sort of spell, Superior Spider-Man.
Goryo's Vengeance is number 5, I guess, isn't it?
Like it's just like whatever. It's just that effect. Doesn't matter what it's said on, but it's like there's nothing like there's no Orcish Bowmasters that I can see. There's no I don't know what's really good for him. There's no VVs that I can see. Like there's none of that stuff that that I'm really like it's forced on myself. But I don't know. Like this set it's just nothing. It's just like why are they doing it? It feels like
it is weird. Yeah,
it is strange, and I think that just a point I want to touch upon is you guys kind of touched upon it there, and I want to throw something at you from a bit of a different perspective. The release schedule at the moment is crazy. I think this set's been. I know Wizards are spoiler happy at the moment, but I think that Wizards anticipated this because they've released at one point they'd released more cards from Avatar: The Last Airbender than Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right.
Avatars, and I think they were anticipating this to go down poorly, and they were like, okay, well, people really like Avatar, so let's try and distance ourselves from it. But we didn't see any through the Own Pass cards until really late, maybe a couple of days or at least a week before the set was fully spoiled. And something a lot of people said was, wow, like the in-universe cards are so much cooler than Spider-Man or Miles Morales, whatever else. But I think personally, I think people are trying to latch on to something quickly because people want to enjoy Magic. They want to be excited by new cards when they see new mythics or new commanders. They really want to be like, they want to have that fire. And I think that people are so disappointed by Spider-Man. But let's say Spider-Man didn't exist. We weren't getting Spider-Man. They never said the word Spider-Man. Let's say they said, we're going to visit a new plane that's all about spiders.
Yeah.
And instead of Spider-Man, we got Adelis, the Silkweave, or whatever. And they just released the in-universe set as a set. I still think people would be very, very, very disappointed because there's no flavor, there's no sauce. it does feel like a rushed. I've got these remnants. I need to amalgamate these into something I can put in the booster pack. If you just take through the Omen paths and sell that as a Magic set without the term Spider-Man, I still think this set would have been a bit of a disaster. What do you guys think?
I agree with that. I think because the problem with it is that because it's not been done as an in-universe set, it's been done as, largely the Spider-Man set. With that is they've already got the backstory, they've already got the lore of Spider-Man himself, so they're not having to worry about building their own story, designing cards around the story. There's I want to say there's like story spotlight cards in some of the sets. Like one of my favorite cards, Witchstalker Frenzy, is one of them from Wilds of Eldraine. So you get to build all that and you get to show it through the art. The problem with this set is, especially with us not seeing the Omen Path cards so late on into the release date, it does sort of allude to the fact that maybe this set was a bit more rushed in the sort of the contract discussions were a bit rushed in the sense where, like Disney's turned around and said no, or Marvel's turned around and said no, you can't use the cards on your game because we've got it on our game. Which sort of makes sense. I personally think that Wizards have seen this as a bit of a cash grab and just been like, oh yes, please, money, 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 and just churn it out because
it's the crab style.
Yeah, exactly. So if you define success, you've either got it as a money making thing in terms of business or people being happy about it. You're never going to get both of them, and if you do, you've done it very, very well. With this set, it's going to be the collectors. It's going to be people, like us three, that love Spider-Man and love Final Fantasy and Lord of the Rings, that just buy the set no matter what because the cards, reminisce you back to your childhood from when you used to run around the house chasing after the cat in a Spider-Man mask, But in terms of, does it make the players happy? Probably not, because it's a mini set, and like you said before as well, Sam, some of the commons and uncommons feel just so bad. Like you've got a bagel, you've got
you got a bagel.
You've got like City Pigeon, you've got like 15 different cards that are like the comic book things like Whip and Kapow or something along them lines.
Whoosh as well.
I don't
Whoosh,
I don't think this set was targeted for Magic players.
No.
This set was targeted for people, maybe try and get people into Magic, like Lord of the Rings. Like, so people who really like Lord of the Rings would bought Lord of the Rings stuff. People who really like Final Fantasy bought Final Fantasy stuff. I don't think those people who like Lord of the Rings or like Final Fantasy bought those packs because they like those games stay in Magic. I'd be very, very surprised if
absolutely not.
I can't think of a single person who, I could think of lots of people who bought Lord of the Rings because it's Lord of the Rings. Like I know people who bought Doctor Who because it was Doctor Who. Not one of those people that I can think of still plays this game. Like they just don't. Like it's a cash grab. That's what it is. It's a cash grab.
Yeah.
You have this IP. They make this cash grab because it's a fandom that's what they're trying to tap into. The fandom does not remain, and all you've got now is annoyed Magic players who play in the game that doesn't look like the game they fell in love with, but will still play the game anyway because they're still entrenched in the game. And it's just annoying those people, and they're not targeting those people. Like I think when Lorwyn comes out, that will sell way more because you've got people like us who would be really excited for that. Because I think Lorwyn was supposed to come out over Spider-Man.
Lauren was meant to be now. Lauren was meant to be now.
You've got a Magic set with a rich background and a history, and those cards, those spoilers that have come out for that set. You've got Bitter Blossom, you've got all Bitter Blossom, all this other stuff. The Kilkin and all that sort of thing. Like they're like getting people excited who are already in the game because they want to feel like this is the game. Now, this set is just like I feel like it's just a cheap way to try and get a quick buck and potentially a way to get people in, and it won't stick. This set will not get people to stick. Like you'll buy a Spider-Man commander deck because you like Spider-Man, and you won't change the cards. You'll play it once or twice, and you'll sit on your shelf, and then you'll eventually sell it, or you'll just don't care about it because you've just bought Spider-Man. That's it. Like you're not going to get any more. Like that person's not going to buy Lauren. It's not going to buy older sets. It's not going to buy a modern. They're not going to buy a modern deck. They're not going to buy a standard deck, particularly now. Like they're just not going to do that.
Josh, you want me to blow your mind?
Go on.
There are no commander decks with this set.
All right. Well, there you go. So like even then they're doing it wrong because that's
Yeah,
what
it's
that's
not.
what would that's what if I never played Magic the Gathering and I saw, I don't know, what did I like before Magic? World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft Magic the Gathering set. I'd be like, oh, I'm picking that up, and I wouldn't play it anymore. Like I'd pick it up because it's World of Warcraft, and I wouldn't be bothered about Magic the Gathering because that's a separate IP that I didn't fall in love with. This set just feels like a front. I think what they should have done to make this set better is make it like a Marvel Heroes set. So this feels like a franchise within a franchise. It feels like if I saw like Captain America and all that other stuff, you know, I'm not really a Marvel fan. I think Marvel's a bit cringe, but all that other things like Thor and all that, I think that would have sold more because you've got, you know, the heroes or the different things. But I feel like there's only so much within the mechanics of Magic that you can push Spider-Man. Hence why they've only managed to get a small set out of it.
That's actually a very, very good point. I think that if there was one Marvel crossover set, and instead of having cards like Spider Bite, which is a spider person I've never heard of, but if you were to have a Avengers set, or maybe do Marvel Avengers Infinity War or something, and have like one event. But you know, we got the Soul Stone here, and that was the one stone we got, which suggests there are at least 4 other Marvel sets coming, right?
So through the Omen Paths, am I right that this is going to be like a thing they're going to use to input cards, and so through the Omen Paths,
More likely,
a set that's going to keep expanding.
That's right. They called Through the Omen Paths 1, which would suggest down the road there's going to be 2 or 3. Now, I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing thing with only their Marvel products or Disney aligned products, or whether now when we see, I don't know, we're getting some announcements at Atlanta about what Universes Beyond sets coming next. So maybe if we get I don't know, somebody give me a franchise, a Yu-Gi-Oh crossover, maybe Through the Omen Path 3 would be Yu-Gi-Oh, but not Yu-Gi-Oh. So I don't know. I think that's also the frustrating element, isn't it? There's no transparency. I would much rather Wizards of the Coast going, right, it was this. Let's say they confirm my theory, right? It was going to be a mini set. We didn't get the rights because we didn't think it'd be relevant. And then over time, mini sets haven't worked. We're changing this, but we couldn't change the contract. If that's what they said, and they were transparent about the failure of the set or where the set's really fallen down, then I would have much more overall respect. But it's this, they're not going to. It's too embarrassing to admit, I think.
Yeah, it is. I think I was just thinking about this then while you two were talking. Could this be the signs of, or the beginning of the end of Magic, maybe? Because if you think about it, all of the Universes Beyond sets that we've had, and we've had people, well, we've now had them in Standard, and the many more Universes Beyond sets that are coming out. You know, like we've got Lorwyn next year, so there's like people putting on the nostalgia glasses and be like, oh, this is going to be back to the game that I used to know and love. I can't wait for it. And then spoil and rumors circulating around Reddit. You've got Strixhaven apparently coming in April next year. And then you've got, on that same sort of leak, you've got then 3 more Universes Beyond sets for the rest of the year. You've got another Marvel set, a Hobbit set, and then Star Trek as well. So then whether, like you said, Sam, whether they're going to carry on tying in these cards to the through the Omen Paths or anything like that. I don't know, it feels like we're getting less and less traditional standard Magic sets, and we're just getting a lot more of these, the Universe Beyond stuff where it's just sort of forcing it down us, and because us 3 are comp players, whether we like it or not, we're going to have to interact with these cards one way or another, whether we play them or whether we play against them. Even if it's, through the Omen Pass cards, that cycle and set of cards is a direct result from the Spider-Man set, Josh. And Sam, sorry, I don't know why I singled you out then, Josh.
Okay. If you want to chat to Josh, I'll leave you guys to it. But that's the big one. You don't get to choose anymore. Doctor Who, my God, I I don't like Doctor Who. That's okay.
No.
But it's a Commander product. Fine. If I ever build a Commander deck, I might have to get Mr. Cyberman. That's a Doctor Who thing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
No,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Not
I might
good.
have to get a Cyberman for my Commander deck. But otherwise, whatever. It's
Yeah.
the fact that if Josh wants to play Gorios after this weekend, he might have to pick up some Superior Spider-Man.
Oh mate, I've already done that. I've already got him.
Yeah.
I've already got him.
And that's the thing. Like,
I'm
if
in the Discord. I know. I'm already
there was a point where, like, okay, well, this is just silly, goofy, fun time. But now, you actually have to play these cards, and like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, whatever. I don't think it's the end of Magic. I think, Dan, that's a little dramatic. And I would say the only reason I'd say that is because Final Fantasy was the best-selling set of all time. Pre-sales in one day of Final Fantasy was more than Lord of the Rings ever made. Something silly.
Oh, sorry, dead quick. Just going to stop you. Is that because, like Josh said, all of the Final Fantasy fans are coming out of the woodworks to buy specifically Final Fantasy to then go back into whatever little crevice have come out of to purchase these packs? Is it because of that, or is it because I've not bought a pack of Final Fantasy? I don't know about you two. I don't know. You bought a box, but you're one of these Final Fantasy fans that have come out of the crevice to buy products to then go back.
Yeah.
But how many Fire Magics are you playing in your standard sideboard, Dan?
2.
So it's relevant then.
It is relevant, yeah. I'm not denying that.
So I actually opened that box, and I sold all the rares as bulk. So I've got hardly any of the cards left. I literally opened the box. I was like, oh, this is great, and then like, there's actually not that many playables, so I just sold it as bulk.
I guess like as a non-Magic player, you could look at these sets and be like, oh, it's so cool. They've got like, they're all unique abilities, and if you're that divulged in the lore and in the character's backstory, like Spider-Ham or Vivianite, it's like, oh yeah, that's so like him in the games or in the comics or anything like that.
But like, as a competitive player though, like I'm not. I collect playables, right? Like, there's no point having bulk because I'm never gonna put them in commander decks. I'm never gonna do a cube with them. Like, I just don't like. It's not. That is not interesting to me. I can consume playables and what is good competitive. So all my folders that I've got are all cards that could be in competitive decks. So when I'm opening sets, which I shouldn't like, I never normally buy boosters and boxes because usually I think like when you're in standard and you play standard, it was always good sort of value to buy a booster box because then you'd have all like commons and uncommons that you could have, and there might be some good rares and stuff. When there was like 4 sets a year kind of thing like that. Like I used to do it then, and then sort of now there's so much product. Like you buy it to get the 4 minutes of endorphins it takes you to crack a box.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you realize actually none of this stuff is worth it, and like that's the sort of that's what Wizards doing. They're getting this quick cash grab for the stock. So Wizards are making Magic for the stockholders, right? They're not making Magic for the players. That's what they're doing because Magic is keeping Hasbro above water because Hasbro is just a failing company.
Go on, Josh. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. So I think my point on that is like there's 2 separate audiences they're going for, and I think I'd like to brush up on maybe not now, but later on in the pod we'll talk about the sort of finances and stuff and how the finances of Magic are getting affected by the sort of what you see in other card games because of this. But yeah, like I just wish that the core of the game they would start appeasing back to the players that are like entrenched and will continue buying the product than just like getting this quick cash grab of Final Fantasy sets and then doing it like almost half-assed with like Spider-Man, because this does feel half-assed. Like Final Fantasy, I felt they did it really well. Like you had the lead designer of Final Fantasy on and promoting it, and the adverts looked really cool, and like it was a really well thought out set, I thought, particularly in the marketing. But this Spider-Man stuff was like, oh, it's Spider-Man now, like what the hell? And now I've seen 2 Lorwyn spoilers, and now I'm like, already I don't care about Spider-Man because Lorwyn's are like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't care for this set. Like, I just don't care.
Yeah. And that's and you're allowed to think that, obviously, but I think that like I'm not as negative in general. Let's say this wasn't Spider-Man, it was Doctor Who, someone I didn't like. I don't think that I would be. I'm still negative. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't be like as negative. I guess my question is then, let's say somebody's walking down the street, they're into this sort of stuff, they see magic boosters of Spider-Man. Oh, I love Spider-Man. Let's pick those up. These cards are sick. Gets a welcome deck, learns how to play, becomes a commander player, really likes the idea of playing commander, then from there becomes a standard player. Wow, this standard's sick, but I like playing powerful cards like commander, and they become an enfranchised tournament grinder, which is, it sounds silly, but it's not too far from the path that us guys took. How many players does a set have to bring in for that set to be a success then? Is it 1? Is it 10? Is it 100? Is it 1,000? Like, how many?
Do you mean like players? You mean like I've now bought this set because I like this IP?
Yeah.
Now I actually like the game of Magic the Gathering.
Yes. How many times does that have to happen? Because at the end of the day, more Magic players is better for everyone, competitive or not. So how many times does that have to happen, would you say?
I just don't think it happened. Like, because the people who like Final Fantasy might not be the people who like Marvel, who might not be the people who like Assassin's Creed, who might not be the people who like Doctor Who. Like these are all really like sometimes polarizing sort of franchises, right? Because I don't know, like it'd have to be the right set for one. The way I would have done it if I was Wizards, I would have made, here's a Spider-Man set, but it's a master set. So it's reprints of playable cards. So I can buy the master set, and I've got Chalice of the Voids in there. I've got, I don't know, other playable
Mox Opals.
Like there's stuff like that where you open it and you're like, oh, I've actually got the beginnings of a modern deck here, and modern is the most popular competitive paper format. And it's the format that if they want to keep people in, they should be getting to play that format really, or Commander. But let's not talk about Commander. But like competitive players, it's if you have a master set, you might have like, I mean, when Doctor Who came out, it was like one of the first reprints of Snuff out for ages, for example, for the players. Like that sort of stuff, people will buy that product then because I need this, and you know what? I'm actually a Magic player who likes this IP, and I can actually get the reprints of my deck. And then it becomes almost like a Universes Beyond sort of product because I'm playing it in my Magic deck. I don't have to play that version of that version. But now these people who are like buying Spider-Man, these people who are buying Final Fantasy, they don't care. Like it matters not to them if it's standalone cards or the reprints. So make them all reprints, appease the IP, but also make the game cheaper for players. And also give players the option to have different artworks. That's what I would have done. Like instead of just rushing a set full of unplayables that are just going to get opened and then I'm just going to sell them as bulk again. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that would have been a better way to do it. Like a master set, Spider-Man Universes Beyond Spider-Man Masters or something, and it's all modern reprints or cards for Pauper, cards for Commander, like loads of like cards we need reprinting. Dust to dust in Pauper. It's like a £12 card, £13 card because it's not had a reprint in God knows how long. Stuff like that.
Sure, I could see that. I don't think that's inherently a bad idea. Dan?
Because we used to have modern masters and we used to have like iconic masters and double masters. We had all of those. So they were like the premium sets, and then those sets got phased out for the now more recent modern Horizon sets that have come out, where instead of reprinting cards, well, they're still reprinting cards, but they're introducing more cards through that sort of stream to give us as Magic players like Flage, so on and so forth. I don't need to reel off Modern Horizons cards, but there's always going to be some level of sort of like chaff in it. So in the Spider-Man set, you've got, for example, the first card I've seen, Imposter Syndrome. It's a very memey card. So it's like a 6-mana enchantment at Mythic, and it is just very memey towards the whole Spider-Man like pointing meme where they're in the alley and they're all like this and that. So that's a very, very easy way for them to, spaff out a card. The master sets going back, they were so sick. Like like Fetchlands got reprinted in them. You had Liliana's, you had Tarmogoyf, you had all sorts. I'm pretty sure you had Dark Confidant in one of them, I want to say. And the box art as well looks so sick. Like there was one that I remember with Scythia Brass on it.
Like imagine a oh, what's the like a Venom Tarmogoyf, for example. Like people need that.
Yeah,
You
that
know
would be
what I
so
mean? Like,
sick.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Like
it's,
I
Why would I
don't
want
hate
a
it.
Venom version of an Josh? Why would I want that?
a Venom original playable rare, but well, you know, it's an iconic card in a master set, in it, and
I get
Yeah.
you.
it's something you'd pick up and you'd be like, oh, you'd still have that like, oh, and then if you're a new player, you'd be like, wait, what's this doing? And you're like, oh, this is a big stupid green thing, and new players love big stupid green creatures, like.
Yeah, true.
I get you. I get you. I'm not, as I always say, I'm not smart enough to sit here with the answers. I can only give my opinion. And to be honest, I think this, I think the set's like below average, but at least I can enjoy it because I like Spider-Man. I can imagine it's a lot harder for people that don't like Spider-Man. But like, you know, at what point do Wizards have to realize that they're the ones who have to come up with this stuff and not us? Like, you know, I think genuinely people's attitudes towards the set have been very negative. I appreciate that it may have been trying to save Ash from a fire, and this is the best that they could do with the failure of the other sets, which is fair enough. But like at the same time, it comes back to an overwhelming amount of product, and
Yeah.
like, you know, it's interesting because Final Fantasy is obviously the very obvious comparison. It's the precedent was set by Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But like, I think Final Fantasy is a really bad set. A lot of the cards are underpowered and not very good, and the ones that are really too good. But like, the set doesn't leave as bad as it tastes, does it?
I mean,
It almost like
it wasn't. I don't think it was as bad as you think. I think it made some archetypes that are getting pushed. I mean, we're not going to talk about standard, but the standard's in a place now where a lot of archetypes are pushed out because of the best decks, right?
Yeah.
And the power of standard right now. Like, I think there are some interesting things that, you know, the landfall deck, for example, that was in with the Chocobo and stuff. You know, like there's a lot of interesting things there, but it's so powered out by the brokenness of standard right now, and the refusal to fix it. Like, it's just, I don't know. Well, I do know, but let's not talk about standard anyway, because we'll go on.
Yeah. We go on forever. So I guess the last thing to touch upon is Universes Beyond. There's essentially introduced super chase cards into Magic the Gathering. I'm not sure if you guys play or are aware of Pokemon, but Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are some pretty examples where essentially like their cards are worth an obscene amount of money. And I know Magic plays like, you know, Magic's expensive. Magic is not a ripple in the puddle that is the Pokemon finance world. Oh my god, like it is. Oh my god, that Pikachu's slightly overweight. Please take my house and my kids. I need it. I need it. Type energy, but Magic's almost followed suit here. Now I have what might be a controversial opinion on this, but for what I mean, Venom. Venom is like a 10 quid card at the minute. It's probably going to go down because it's not great. You can get the super duper fancy comic book foil Venom for over 200 quid.
Yep.
The Soul Stone, your super not serialized, so we can reprint the set as collector boosters, but serialized card. Did you see somebody was trying to trade their Black Lotus for a Soul Stone?
No. What?
Somebody was trying to trade their Black Lotus for one of the super duper rare Soul Stones because they don't exist. Black Lotuses exist. These super duper rare Soul Stones don't. One sold at like more money than I have. One sold at like 20, 30k. So
which Soulstone's this? Is this like
I
full art one or the one with
full art?
Thanos?
The full full art one. I forgot what it's called. Sorry, I think it's like Infinity Foil, Ripple Foil, whatever foil.
Yeah.
But people are willing to trade their Black Lotuses for a Soul Stone because if you think about it, there's more of a market for that Soul Stone than there is for Black Lotus at the minute, right?
Yeah.
So I'll explain. When I explain to someone about Magic finances, to someone who doesn't know anything about trading cards, I'll say this: Pokemon, right? You have a version of card that is playable or a version of card that is worth pennies, but you'll have the same card that's fancy foil or whatever, or super rare, and it's like 200-300 times more expensive.
Yes.
And usually Pokemon people like to put their cards in like they like to
grade
them and stuff, because it's pure collectible. You could have an absolutely awful card that is unplayable, but because it's like a fancy version of a Pokemon that people like, it's super collectible. Now Magic's always been affected the price. Let's take away Reserve List, because Reserve List is its own entity.
Yeah.
The price of Magic is completely dictated by how good a card is usually and how playable it is. Vivi, for example, if that it's playable, it's what's a good example actually? Shieldred the Apocalypse. Shieldred the Apocalypse is a standard mythic, but it's played in Legacy, it's played in Modern, and it was played in Standard, it's played in Pioneer. It's a very good playable card, and the cheapest version of that card was like 60 quid at one point, 50 quid at one point. Like, you wouldn't get one of it any cheaper than that because it's super playable. If this doesn't matter how rare, like not the rarity, sorry.
That was the base version, wasn't it?
That was the base version,
Yeah.
Because it's super playable. And if you've got like a super like foil full art version of that, that's more expensive because it's people who want to foil out their competitive decks, right? Where now you're seeing these Spider-Man sets, these Final Fantasy sets, and so on. The people are scalping, or the people who scalped Pokemon boxes and stuff are now scalping the collector boosters to then either crack and open or to hold stock and then sell them at a later date. Like you couldn't get a Final Fantasy RRP for a collector booster was like £300 and something, but you couldn't get one any cheaper than 700-800 because of the scalpers. And that's sort of affecting Magic now because of these IPs. Because people are like thinking like, I really want the Infinity Stone. The Infinity Stone's not it's not even that good. Like from what I've read
it. Not for us, it isn't, but it is now a Commander Forever State.
Yeah.
So
sure, like it sees playability, but like this is one of the Soul Stones. Like one day someone's going to own all the fancy Soul Stones in a case and put them in a binder or put them slabbed up or something, and they're going to sell them as a set, and it's going to be worth as much as a house because of the collectability of it. No one's going to play those cards. They're just fancy, and I feel like this sort of like horrible sort of finance stuff is going to affect Magic. Now, it makes it more of an investment piece, and if you do own these things, you know they're going to hold the value. But it means that, like me, who wants to pick up a collector box because it's fun, or I like the set, and I just want to, I don't know, offload £300. I can't. I'm not going to pay £700-800 for a collector booster box. Like I'm just not going to do that.
No.
But these scalpers are going to mean these scalpers are going to affect the market in such that if you want that set and you want to open them, that's what you're going to have to pay.
One of my favorite Magic content creators, MT Fish, Seth, been in the game now for as long as I have, love him to bits. But he does this thing where he's like, I spent $1,200 on Spider-Man collector boosters. Let's open them up. These are pre-release, pre-order prices. Yeah. Every single box, because he didn't open the Soul Stone, was minus $400 at a minimum, which is insane. And like, I don't know.
It's a really expensive
I don't know.
Card. You're opening a really expensive scratch card. Yeah, they're going to hit the jackpot, or you're not going to hit.
But the thing with scratch card is I can win £1 million and then if I but like, I mean,
you could do a lot with 30 grand, mate.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. But yes, I could finally finish my modern deck. But like, is that a bad thing? Because if you look at Pokemon, I was literally chatting to Sonny about this the other day, actually, when we were at an RCQ in Castleford. And they were like, I've just picked up Pokemon. The one thing I know about Pokemon is the actual meta decks are pretty cheap because nobody cares.
You can buy it.
Nobody cares.
I played. There was recently a rotation in Pokemon, and I played Lugia deck, and I picked up the entire deck for like 60 quid. Like, I know
and it's good, right? Like meta.
Yeah, it was like tier 1, tier 2. Like it was completely like at £60. Bought it off my mate. That was at like cost price, and he says like this is what you get it for if you were to go on, because they use eBay a lot on that, like super cheap, and they use like a lot of the cards in those decks are they carry on in the formats. Like there's certain cards like trainers and stuff that just stay in the format forever. Like imagine if like Lightning Bolt was always in standard
in Foundation. It's like a Foundations card, right?
So there's like Foundations cards, so like certain archetypes thingy out, and you there might be like cards that are expensive, but like expensive is like £15, £20, and you only need like 3 of them, I think, 3 or 4 of them. So like, but the rest of the deck is so cheap that it's nothing.
Isn't that good?
To play, it is good. I suppose in that way it is good, but there's still that whole shenanigans of, you know, when you see like videos of people in supermarkets or Walmarts and that, and they're fighting kids for like boxes of Pokemon, and you're like, Jen, you're just fighting a kid over like a quick book kind of thing, and it's you don't see that in Magic, and
not yet.
I guess
not yet. Yeah.
If you're an investor, then it's probably better, because like I always say, like Magic is not a collectible card game, or it wasn't traditionally. Like, you don't collect Magic, you collect playables, and now it seems like Magic is actually collecting, and Wizards are opening up themselves to a new market, which I suppose is smart, but it just don't know. There's something icky about it. Really icky about it.
It is icky. It is icky, but like for me, I played a pre-release. That's the extent of the boosters I'm going to open. But like, if somebody wants to spend hundreds playing this race, and it doesn't affect the thing I care about is Magic was a competitive game first and foremost. You want to chase the Soul Stone, you do it your own. Do you know how much? Have you seen the Final Fantasy art? It's like the character in front of a blank background with the number of the game, like the full art of Final Fantasy for legendary characters.
Yeah.
So like, do you want to take a guess at how much the Surge Foil Sephiroth is in front of in that fancy art? Bearing in mind, it's not 1,000. It's not 1,000, but considering Sephiroth is like a fine Magic card, how much is the full art foil?
I'm gonna go 400.
Josh?
I don't know, 60 quid.
$800 for the Surge Foil Sephiroth, but the actual Sephiroth is 25 quid.
Yeah.
So like, you know, like it sucks if you like Sephiroth, I guess. But I don't know, Dan. What do you think about this?
So just going back to Josh's point, so he mentioned like the collectability of it. So perfect example, Sam. I was messaging you this. So I've bought. They've got like these the bonus sheet cards where it just looks like they've just ripped the art straight from a comic book, and they look really, really cool because they have.
Yeah.
So I'm even though I'm not the biggest fan of modern, I've bought 4 leyline bindings from the bonus sheet, and I've bought 4 goblin bombardments from the sheet because they look really, really sick. And I'm just sat here scrolling through the rest of the art, and I'm looking at the Path to Exiles. I'm looking at the Ponders. There's so many like really, really playable cards. Not even just like in standard modern, just across the entire sort of plateau of magic formats that we have access to, and 99% of these cards are playable, if not 100% of them. Like, you got Opposition Agent, Reanimate for the legacy players, Counterspell for modern and above, Reprieve for the weird decks. So they look really, really sick. So in terms of like the collectability side of it, like I said to you, Sam, I want to buy the rest of them just because they look so sick.
Yeah.
I think one more thing I do want to just mention, and it's going back to earlier on the pod when we talked about the commons and uncommons. Like, how does that affect draft then? Because if they're not very, because this set wasn't.
Because it wasn't meant to be drafted, was it?
Can you draft this set or not?
You can, but it's called pick 2 draft. You can draft it normally. They're recommending you pick 2 draft it, which is a pod of 4 people, and you take 2 cards on a rotation. So it's very, very fast-paced drafting. It's interesting to note that this weekend we touched upon the Pro Tour, didn't we? And it's Edge of Eternities. Spider-Man is legal this weekend.
It is.
But it's not getting its own Pro Tour.
Thank God.
Because I think that with the limited format, I think Wizards won't say so. I think limited formats, Final Fantasy, for example, is heralded as one of the best limited formats of all time. Fair play. But I think they take years to design. The actual limited format probably takes longer to design than the rares and the mythics. And I just think Wizards were not confident in this. Can you imagine the embarrassment of watching pick 2 draft of the Pro Tour? Oh, but every creature is legendary because they're all Spider-Men and Spider-Women. So it doesn't actually work. It just doesn't work, essentially. Pre-release was very, very fun. but I have to say my deck was absolutely obscene. I got 2 of the best cards in the set in my deck, so I had fun. I'm not sure my opponents did, but like, if I didn't have that experience, would I have enjoyed it? I don't know is the answer. And I think that sort of, I think that the yes, but not quite is the answer to your question, Josh.
Right.
Which is obviously what you want to hear when you ask.
I'm never going to draft this set ever. I don't hardly draft anyway, but I'm never going to draft this set.
Oh yeah, same.
To be fair, pick 2 drafts actually sounds somewhat fun because it's more of a board game. We'd only need one other Chad to do a draft between us.
Yeah.
But then that does also mean I'd have to buy 12 boosters of Marvel Spider-Man, which might not be the best investment. But I think that, I think that's a really almost great point to end on, in the fact that it can't even be drafted. So is this even a set? What is this? I think, look, I love Spider-Man. There is still time in my life where I can grow up to become Spider-Man, right? Don't count me out, guys. But what upsets me the most about this set is I should be more excited than what I am. A lot of my excitement is because I just get to have Spider-Man artwork from a comic book on a card. That's pretty cool. Not from the actual meat and potatoes of the set itself.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you guys a question. I know what Josh's answer is gonna be. Dan, I'm not too sure of yours, but guys, is this set a failure? Would you call this set a failure?
I think if I'm an entrenched Magic player and I don't care for this set and I think it's a bit of a joke, I would suggest that is a failure.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to change. I want to alter your question to me, and I want to say, is this set failing me personally as a Magic player? And I will say this set is failing me.
Yeah.
Wow. That's the I'm not angry, I'm disappointed answer. Wow.
I think in the grand scheme of things, it is a bit of a failure. I think they've seen the performances of like the what was it, the Aftermath set or whatever it was called, and Assassin's Creed. Like Assassin's Creed was a straight into modern Universes Beyond set, and there was one card that saw play, and it was in like a bit of an if, and that deck is just nowhere to be seen right now.
What card you want about?
Could not tell you. It was a blue-black artifact.
Oh, Basim.
That's the one. Yeah. Thank you. That's exactly it. That set, I know that it had Fatal Push in, and I know that it had Basim because it was played in Modern. Yeah. In maybe like a year's time, if none of these cards are played in competitive Magic, I couldn't tell you what Ben Riley does. I couldn't tell you what Miles Morales does. I couldn't tell you what any of them do now. So let alone in a year's time. So I would go with yes. I would say that this set's a failure. They've seen like the poor performances of these mini sets in the past, and they've said that this was initially meant to be a mini set, and it's done awfully. Even when it's not as a mini set, it's as a big set. It seems like a lot of the cards are very poorly designed. It seems there's a lot of chaff in there. It's overall, it's not looking good.
Yeah, I have to agree with you too. I've got a couple of points to wrap up on, and like pre-release attendance wasn't great, worldwide. If people aren't even to play pre-release, something's wrong because people play limited.
Well, it's like I said before, these people are not here to play the game. They just want the cards because it's Spider-Man. That's it. That's it.
So limited doesn't really work. I think it'll have a very minimal impact on standards, and if it does and something's been missed, I don't think it will inherently be a positive impact on standards. I think that realistically, I should be more excited than what I am. The Through the Omen Path stuff is crazy in my opinion, but I think all of it together just has made a stew of disappointment. And that's the stew I know how to make, guys. I've made enough of those stews in my life, and this stew is like it's pretty disappointing. I don't want to say it's a failure because we haven't even seen it impact standard yet or modern. I hope that we get some of the cool legendary creatures to see play somewhere. But if the commander players aren't biting. It's really funny, actually, just before we wrap up. I got one of the secret layers. Oh, no. But, for Final Fantasy, you could not get them.
No.
For Sonic, you couldn't really get them, even though for Sonic they limited their numbers. And you can go on right now, which is 3 days after Secret Lair launch, and you can still buy the Spider-Man one.
Yeah.
And I have to say, credit where credit is due. My opinion is vote with your wallet. Spend money where you want to spend money. And if the community is saying, I don't want to spend money on this, I actually really respect that. So fair play.
I hope it puts them off.
Yeah. I think that, how do I put this lightly? Whatever money they spent on getting the rights to this, I don't think they'll see back.
Don't think they will.
Good.
I think is a really fair way of putting it. Good. Oh, no. No. I want to play with Mr. Spider-Man.
Yeah, so when I'm on my break in work, right, and I'm just sitting there doom scrolling on TikTok, a lot of inspirational quotes have been popping up recently, and one of them that's like been resonating within me is that you've got to fail before you succeed. So maybe Spider-Man is destined to fail for the sake of Avatar, or for the sake of Lorwyn, or even Strixhaven next year at some point, for one of them sets to succeed.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Dan. So if this is their first failure, standards flourishing, right?
Exactly.
I mean, they've got another print run of Final Fantasy coming out, haven't they? So.
Have they announced that?
I think it's just getting reprinted, like the whole set.
Yeah.
A second print run.
Yeah, they've announced that there's going to be. They've given people posters for Atlanta this weekend and stuff. So interestingly enough, they physically currently can't reprint collector boosters of Final Fantasy because of the serialized cards. So I think they're going to be doing something similar to Lord of the Rings holiday set, where it's just the set again, but on a different print run. I think you're right, Josh.
Yeah. Just on that, so in MTG Japan, they tweeted out for an even more casual unboxing experience on December 5th this year, the basic booster for Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy will be available exclusively in Japan, with this compact product containing 7 cards. Let's reunite with those memorable cards.
How is the answer that they've turned Final Fantasy into a mini? How has this happened? How have we? No. Anyway, guys.
When you look at the playables, it is a mini set. To be fair,
I think this is a good time to end this.
Yeah, before my brain explodes, I think that this is a great place to leave it, guys. This is the first Sam-led episode in a while.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with me. There's been a lot of disappointment. I'm sorry, Dad. Throughout this episode.
Did you just call me Dad?
No. I was actually speaking to my dad. But if you want to take it that way, I can live with that.
Dad just sat there in the corner of the room watching.
Yeah, as always.
Yeah.
But Josh.
Yes.
I'm going to leave it to... Sorry, guys. If you got listener questions, Dan, the link's in the description, isn't it?
It is indeed. It is titled Brand New Listener Questions. Ask us a question, leave your name, and we will answer it next time we are on the podcast.
Leave your comments about Spider-Man. What does this set mean to you? Do you like it? Is it a failure? Do you agree with us? My microphone's card. There we go. I'm back. Are you more Sam or are you more Josh? Josh, I'm going to let you do all the lovely stuff at the end that you usually make me and Dan do.
Okay, sure. So, couple of things. So, one, we have the charity event coming up in Preston. Well, it's not coming up. It's in December, 30th of December. There's going to be more comms about that coming out from next month. Let's get Halloween out of the way a little bit before we start talking about Christmas stuff. But check Harlequin Preston's website for more information on the charity event. I'll probably do a link in the below. Let me just write a little, because I'm editing this week, so I need to write a list of what I need to link. It's going to be a massive event, and the charity is for War Child. So please check that out. And if you're in the north of England, it'll be such a great event to go to. And we're going to aim it so like everyone will get something out of that event. But yeah, we want everyone to come and have a good time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast for our updates and our next podcasts, etc. Don't forget to check out our Twitter. I do sort of semi-post stuff on Blue Sky, but that's sort of like a token effort. I don't really engage with that format.
I'll be sure
that social media platform very often. But we're very active on Discord as well, so come check out Chad Magic's Discord. And yeah, thanks for all the support and thanks for listening.
Damn, I was hoping to catch him out, but he's nailed that. Damn.
He's absolutely smashed it.
Absolutely smashed it. On that note, guys, I will catch you all next week.
Bye.
You will indeed. Thanks, guys. Bye.